Alright, we're going to talk about this. How's it going, everyone? TVR, Xorro, late for dinner, you know who it is. It's time for another TVR Asks. I know we just did one about a week and a half ago. That was technically late. But the question this time around, what's your favorite Monstercat compilation? It can be any of the numbered comps, 01 through 030. It could be any of the Uncaged volumes, any of the Instinct volumes, any of the Rocket League comps, just as long as it's a comp of some sort, you know? And you know the drill by now, best answers get featured in a video, so here we go. I'm gonna go with 019, with an honorable mention of Rocket League Volume 3. 019 has a ton of classics and one of the most underrated collections of songs ever. Underrated bangers like With You, Boundaries, Saviors, and Turn Around, accompanied by classics like Snowblind, Hot Pursuit, Error Code. Literally every kind of song you could want is on that album, and it's still the most memorable comp in my eyes. It was also the first comp I can remember coming out, and it's got a ton of great songs, and it's very underappreciated. Yeah, that's a pretty good pick, honestly. I'm actually kind of glad you mentioned that one, because it was the comp where I started getting into Monstercat too, because it was right after 018 Frontier came out. I've talked about this before, but when Pegboard Nerds' Emergency came out, which is on this comp, that's about when I really started getting into Monstercat, even though I technically did listen to Monstercat earlier that year. This one will always be a pretty memorable, pretty great comp, honestly. Not really much to complain about on this one. Uncaged 11. I'm more of a modern MCAT guy. I mean, I can understand that, you know. There's a lot of really good stuff with the new music. But Uncaged 11? That's a big fucking comp. Wasn't it like 85 songs? I did that video. I made that video. That video is like 26 minutes long. But I mean, hey, if you like it, then, you know, good on you. That's 85 songs that you feel are some of your favorite on the entire label. That's totally fine. You know, it's a lot of songs, so a lot to enjoy, I guess. Had made a ranking video on it, and I still stand by that opinion. 025 is easily some of the best comps Monstercat has ever created. The songs the comp has is either between great, best of all time, making it flawless. There's the Grabbits album, the Project 46, there's the Luther comeback, the AU5 and Fractal AB, Pavanite and Ison. Really great debut tracks, and some of my all-time favorite EDM tracks. A close contender for second is either Uncaged Volume 8, 016, and the 8-year anniversary comp. 025 will remain quite the legendary comp, and I would agree that it's one of my favorite comps, as it also has a lot of my favorite Monstercat songs on there as well. A lot of ones that get overlooked as well. So there's World's Fighter. I love that song to death. There's the Nitro Fun and Subtech collab, Come With Me, with Annie Yvette. Like you said, the Luther song is great. That's probably my favorite song he's ever made, quite honestly. The Fool song is great. The Stonebank EP too. That was a good EP. Yeah, there's just a lot to really there's a lot to like about 025, with it being released in the wintertime. The Haywire song, Endlessly. Oh my god, there's so much to like about this comp. If you have not heard this comp, do yourself a favor and listen to it. It is chef's kiss. Rocket League and Monstercat Volume 1. It's my overall favorite. I have a lot of memories associated with most of the tracks, and there's only a couple that feel bland. Right off the top of my head, I do not remember a lot of this track list. There's the Grant song, there's the Tristram, there's the Vice Tone, the Eminence, Tokyo Machine, of course. There's the Trivecta song. There are some good songs on here. I can't deny that. I wouldn't call this one of my favorite comps, though, simply because there's a lot of it that doesn't quite feel that great to listen to, at least for my tastes. But I do recognize that there are some really good songs on here, and it was sort of the catalyst, the beginning of the additional volumes we received after that, 2, 3, 4, and 5, which honestly I think I like all 4 of those more than this. Yeah, I mean, it's a good comp, just not really one of my favorites, I would say. Hands down, Instinct Volume 2. I have crazy nostalgia for it because that was the comp album that came out just as I was getting into Monstercat. Besides that, it also just had some of the most high quality stuff the label has seen: Forward, Journey, Dream State, etc. So yeah. I mean, I do like this comp a lot. There are some really good songs on here. Some of my favorite Instinct songs actually come from this comp. And, you know, late 2018 was, you know, they were thriving. And also early 2018 kinda too. But late 2018 that's when, at least to me, that's when the quality started to kind of shine. But yeah, I agree. I don't remember too much off the top of my head. Without looking at the track list, Dream State's really good. Forward's good. The Journey, I was never in love with it, but it's alright. Snare Skin song was really good. Bad Computer's Voyage is really good. I enjoy that one. Yeah, there's a lot of good ones on here. Again, probably not one of my favorites, like, of all time. A very, very solid one for sure. The Monstercat 5-year anniversary, their best anniversary comp in my opinion. See, the 5-year anniversary is a tricky one because every time I look back on it, I can't believe that came out when the label was only 5 years old. It didn't even feel that old at the time, but like looking back, it felt like now I feel fucking old. But beside the point, yeah, this comp also not one of my favorites. There's some good ones. I like the Pegboard Nerds one, the Rogue song, Laszlo's Tribal, Before We Fade. Yeah, it's one of the weaker Tristram songs, but it's still good. There's quite a bit to like on here, I would say. Break the Silence too. But yeah, overall it wasn't like quite my thing. The Stonebank one never spoke to me. The Muzz one always confused me. Probably a bunch of other ones I'm not even thinking of right now. Oh, Matches is really good. Can't go wrong with Matches. I remember when that song was still just like an ID back in the day, and Aaron Richards wasn't even like a part of the project. It was just the instrumental. Oh man, where did the time go? But yeah, it's a fine comp, Not the best, not the worst. It's just kind of it's fine. Oh, 30. Barely any songs that are not good. So many iconic songs like Chipland, Good to Go, Saving Light, Savage, Constellations, and much more. The overall consistency is amazing too. If Monstercat will start making comps again, they won't top this one. Oh, 30 is a very interesting pick. I don't really love the comp personally. It was slightly before, but this came out right before I started to lose interest in Monstercat. It was sort of that like from early to late 2017 where I didn't really follow the label that much like I used to, mainly because I just wasn't a fan of the direction it was going. But comps that are closer to that recollection are like Uncaged Volume 1, Uncaged Volume 2. 030 though, 030 is not bad. 030's got some good ones. Chipland's good, Good to Go's good, I guess. Saving Light's a classic. It came out at the beginning of what I consider to be probably Monstercat's worst year. This comp will never be like amazing to me, but like I said, and like I've said throughout this entire video, there are good songs on here. I've had a few through the years, but the first one I ever considered my favorite was Voyage 023. It was my first time listening to Monstercat mixes from start to finish, and I just had a blast when I heard them on the summer of 2018. Also, my least favorite song was Aphasia, but I came back to it a few years ago and it grew on me. I love Aphasia. Aphasia is such a good song. Such a creative idea for a song, too. I really love what Mr. Fiji Ouija did with that one. And also, yeah, 023 is a pretty solid comp. Probably my least favorite comp of 2015. If not that, then 024. But both of those comps are still really solid. 023 had a lot of really good ones. It had Swamp Thing, Nitro Fun at Final Boss, that's one of his most popular songs. Slippy got his start here, who went by Slips and Slurs back then. Yeah, it's just a crazy comp. Dion Custom too, oh my god, don't even get me started on him. Highly recommend listening to this one as well. Although, to my recollection, there are a couple of Aerochord songs on here. So if you want to avoid those, then go ahead. But I think both of them are pretty solid. Regardless of the fact. Ooh, good question. I think I'm going to have to go with the personal favorite of mine being Monstercat X Rocket League. They're talking about Volume 3. Besides containing one of my top 5 favorite songs on the whole label, Shiawase, RLV3 is just one of those comps to lift your spirits and put you in a good mood. You got your happy feel-goods and Glide, Hours, and About You, a bit of iconic powerhouses such as Doomu and Bad Computer at some of their prime moments. And of course, as I mentioned, probably the most iconic track in Shiawase. I definitely think this is a strong comp. This is a very strong Rocket League comp. Stronger than most of them, I would say, maybe. It's between this and Volume 5, quite honestly. I'm a big fan of Volume 5, but Volume 3 is also a really good pick. I don't really have much else to comment on this one. It's a good comp. And finally, one that I've seen a lot of answers for, 016. It has a ton of classic bangers on it that have stood the test of time. New Game, Apollo, Savage, Blue, Till It's Over, Transformations, Endgame, Rain, Canvas, Peacock. Those all hold up pretty damn well, and they fucking slap. Overall, this comp is a great bunch of quality tunes from Monstercat and their heyday. Also, like half of the Monstercat songs in J-Sab are also in 016, and since J-Sab is what got me into EDM in the first place, I have that nostalgia as well. I have not a damn clue what J-Sab is, so you're gonna have to explain that in the comments. But regardless, yeah, this is a really strong comp. I'm kind of surprised by how many answers I got with 016. A bunch of you really were rooting for this one, and yeah, 016 is definitely probably one of the strongest Monstercat comps I think ever. A lot of really solid tunes on here, a lot of classics, like the ones mentioned here. A pretty underrated one is Rat Twist by Pixel. That's probably one of my favorite songs on that entire comp. But yeah, just a lot to like here, and definitely one of my top few favorite comps during that era of Monstercat. Definitely check this one out as well. Highly recommend it. And that about does it for this episode of TVR Asks. Thank you for joining me on here once again. I also wanted to point out that these next few weeks are going to be extremely busy for me. Not only for videos, but also my personal life and my job is all going to start kind of getting a little crazy during the holidays. I'm going to double down on videos. Because I love torturing myself, apparently. And I want to aim for daily uploads throughout all of December. How likely that is? Probably not super likely, but I already have most of it mapped out, and I think it's possible if I just get everything done, right away, while I still have the time to do so, because the second December starts, it's going to be fucking nuts. If you don't see me posting a lot of updates, there probably might not even be a TVR Asks next month. I might just decide to scrap that and save it for January, but we'll see. It's still not December yet. So we'll see. As always, I love you all, and I will talk to you guys later.